Hey there everybody, Eric from Outer Limitless coming at you today with another video. Now there's no doubt that Thrunite products are products that I cover at length on my channel. That is absolutely the case here today. We're going to look at the TC20 Pro. Now there are a number of different TC20 models out there. This one here being the Pro, a fantastic option, but what I can tell you, this is not going to be so much of your typical EDC flashlight. It's not really the type of flashlight you throw in your pocket, but for me, it really does fit some needs. I love a flashlight that's a little bit larger, has a little more performance and a little more throw, and maybe that's the case for some of you. And so what we're gonna do, we're gonna take a look at this TC20 Pro in detail. I'm gonna get it out of the box, look at all the features, and then we're gonna get it outside for some beam shots. And so with that said, I have a whole bunch to do and a whole bunch to share with you. And if you're interested in seeing a little bit more about what I'm about to get into, do me a favor, stay tuned. Now before we get too far, I would like to say thank you very much to the people at Thrunite who did provide this for review. And so now as you get a look at the TC20 Pro, you can see here a nice large flashlight. Now again, this is not going to be the typical throw it in your pocket EDC style flashlight for most of you. In fact, there's no real clip. You'll notice that the real way to sort of carry this is with this holster pouch sort of sheath. Now this does work fairly well. This is how I've been carrying it. I've basically been carrying this light for a couple of days now, and just great performance. Now Thrunite does offer the same exact sort of sheath style holster with a number of their flashlights. Pretty straightforward, a Velcro enclosure on the front, belt loop on the back, and then your little D-ring attachment. Has a bit of a stretchy shock material on the side, and you'll notice you can carry this light either bezel up or bezel down depending on your needs. So as you can see here, fitting in there fairly straightforward. Now for me, for the most part, I have been carrying this what I would say bezel up, but it does work both ways. So overall, a very nice and fairly easy and straightforward carry system. Now keep in mind the fact that, again, if you are somebody that likes to carry this in your pocket, that's probably not really going to work so well. Now as we get into this here, you'll see this is a large battery. So this is leveraging a 26650 lithium ion battery, 3.7 volt. 5,000 milliamp hours, and this translates to about 18.5 watt hours of power. So good size battery, very large, and that is what really makes this a larger form factor light. So again, depending on your needs, this may be a little bit larger than what you would typically, again, throw in your pocket, but for me, I don't mind this, and I love having a light with a little more punch and a little more throw. And as you take a look and we turn this here, you can see inside the head, right down and inside that lens, nice and smooth reflector. No sort of orange peel or anything like that. That nice large reflector. This is going to be an absolute throwing monster. Now on top of all of this, it does come with your typical goodies. So you can see here, replaceable O-rings, a little bit of a keychain attachment, your lanyard, which take it or leave it. For me, I personally, to be honest with you, really don't need that too much. And then your USB Type-C charging cable. As we take the light here and rotate it around, you'll notice this does have your USB Type-C rechargeable port. Very straightforward. Now I have fully charged this light at this point. On the side here, you can see dual function on the button that lights up red while you're charging and then turns blue when it's ready to go. So this is fully charged at this point. Keep in mind this also does come with the user's manual, so everything very straightforward from Thrunite, no surprises. This is how almost all of their lights do tend to come. And last but not least, just showing you the box. So good size box, but again, very straightforward and what you've come to expect from Thrunite. Now as we run through the modes real quick, a long press, this is going to come in the Firefly mode. So 0.4 lumens, very simple, 0.4 lumens. That Firefly mode will run for around 69 days. A single press turns the light back off. Now at this point, a single press and we can cycle between the modes. So low, medium, high, low, medium, high. And this will have a memory mode. So the low mode here, this is 30 lumens. This will run for around 89 hours. Long press here, medium, 264 lumens for around 10.5 hours. Long press, you'll notice it does go back down. So if you take too long between modes, it will go back down. But now a long press, medium, high. The high mode here, 1513 lumens. That will run for around 116 minutes. Single press will turn the light off. Now a quick double press, that's going to be that turbo mode, 3294 lumens. This will run for around 200 seconds and then dim down to 1500 lumens for around 112 minutes. Now, all in all, on that turbo mode, this does have around 30,400 candela, which is very solid, very reasonable, and a good amount of punch at distance. This has an overall throw of around 348 meters. This has an impact resistance of around 1.5 meters and is an IPX8 waterproof rating. Now, for this light to get into the strobe mode, a quick double press. That goes into turbo, double press, that is strobe. So kind of a little bit different here, where typically you'd get a triple press into strobe, but here again with the light on, double press to turbo, double press to strobe. So you do access the strobe mode from the turbo mode on the TC20 Pro. But now at this point, with a quick rundown of the features, let's get it outside for some beam shots. And so now as we get into the beam shots with the TC20 Pro, a long press here. This is going to be that Firefly mode. You can see a good amount of light for reading, but as I beam off into the distance, the light is not really picking up too much in the way of the foreground. Now I'll show it again in a little bit, but you can see not a huge amount of throw overall. That's a nice Firefly mode. But a single press now, I am going to cycle between the modes. So here, the low mode. Low, now you can see that nice defined hotspot, a bit of spill off to the sides, and really starting to beam off into the distance. It might be a little difficult to see, but I'm starting to illuminate the birch trees on the left-hand side of the screen. You can see there, nice little amount of light. So this again being the low mode. A long press, this is going to be that medium mode. So the medium mode really starting to light things up. This is where you get a great benefit from that hot spot, a nice amount of throw off to the sides. You can see those red chairs off in the foreground. Those are about 60 feet away, illuminating those perfectly. Now a long press at this point is going to go back into the low mode, medium, high. That's the high mode, really seriously throwing the light here. That's doing a fantastic job, just beaming, real bright, perfect amount of light, doing a great job. But now a double click, that's turbo. Turbo is just a huge wall of light, lighting everything up, fully illuminating those red chairs, fully illuminating the trees, no problem. Now again, a long press, and you're not going to be able to see anything up into the trees, really nothing worth noting. However, you can see down in front of me, this is enough light to be able to navigate around. And there's still a little bit of moonlight here, so it's not completely dark, but you can see enough that I can identify some footprints and different items down in the snow. But where this is really going to start to throw is with the low mode. So now a single press into the low mode, you can see illuminating the base of the trees. At this point, all the way up, pretty good amount of light, doing a nice job to illuminate. Now, I'm not seeing a ton of definition, but it's enough that I can start to see what's going on. And again, back to those birch trees off in the distance. Good amount of light for navigation, no problem. This is literally perfect to get around anywhere, no problem at all. And if I long press at this point, now going into that medium mode. So the medium mode, again, really starting to light things up. Now this is more than enough light for me to see definition. If there was like a raccoon or something up in the trees here, I would have no problem identifying it positively. A good amount of light, a nice wall of light, both with that hot spot in the center, but also some flood off to the sides. Doing a great job casting off
more than enough light for anything that I would need to do. Now again, the programming with Thrunite, a long press goes back into the low, medium, high. This here being that high mode, really starting to fully illuminate everything. A big wide wall of light lighting up all of the trees, no problem. Nice wide cone of light and a good amount of throw off into the distance. Double press to turbo, boom. Fully illuminating everything. Huge amount of light, fully casting off into the distance. Just a huge wall of light. Now at this point, a double press gets you into that tactical strobe, single press off.
So now here you can see a long press. This is going to be that moonlight mode, enough just to be able to read out here. But if I do really want to navigate, well, now I need to get into the main mode. So a single press here. As I long press between the modes, here you can see the low mode. And so the low mode is definitely a great option for general navigation. My ability to get all the way down onto the ice without any fear of not being able to see my way or tripping on something foolish. This is a nice overall output with a quality beam. Now you can see that centralized hotspot with a good amount of spill off to the side. But then when you get into that medium mode, starting to get a little more punch. Depending on your surroundings and what you're trying to do, this will be your pretty much, in my opinion, your general use mode. It can do most things effectively and not kill your battery. But here, the high mode, we're starting to really get some punch. If you need to throw off into the distance, get a little more sort of visibility off into the distance, the high mode will really start to do it. A good quality hotspot. You can really see the flood cast off to the side. It's doing a very nice job. But then, if you really want your full performance, the turbo mode. Now, in my opinion, there's not a huge difference between the high and the turbo, but the turbo definitely giving you that additional punch, and especially off at distance. And another mode that for me, I don't typically use, but it's nice it's there, the strobe.
Now here you can see that low mode, again, beaming off into the distance. Nice amount of light, but you can see it does hit its theoretical limit. Long press here to medium. Really starting to light things up nicely. Good amount of light. Long press goes back into low, now medium, now high. So now with the high mode here, starting to beam off nicely into the distance. You can see fully illuminating pretty good distance away. Double press here. That's going to be the turbo mode. Turbo doing a real nice job. Good amount of light. Double press into the tactical strobe and off.
Now just one last final demonstration of the TC20 Pro as I get into one last demonstration of the beam shots. Again, a long press. This is that firefly mode. Now you can see in the foreground as it's getting a little bit darker now, just a little bit of beam quality. This would help me get around. It would have a long battery life, but at the same time, not too much in the way of solid navigation, just enough for my general proximity. Now a single press into the low mode. This is awesome for navigation, no problem. This will get me around with ease. You can see now beaming off into the distance, getting some decent throw off into the trees. Now there's a boathouse off in the distance. This is not really reaching it at all, but now with a long press, well, that's going to be that medium mode. And as you see off in the distance there, I am starting to hit some of the trees off in the distance and that boathouse, which, as you see here, definitely illuminating the entire boathouse. You can start to see off to the right in the trees. Good amount of light overall. Now, a long press, again, goes back to low. Long press, medium, high. Now I'm in that high mode. The throw going all the way to fully illuminate that boathouse a couple 100 feet away. No problem. Up into the trees, the entire tree line with ease, fully illuminating everything nicely. Now, at this point, a double press. That's that turbo mode really starting to beam as I point that beam directly at that boathouse, completely illuminating the entire thing. And that is not a small structure by any means. As you take a look at the shoreline, as you take a look at the trees, fully illuminating everything between me and that boathouse. Incredible. And at this point, another double press, tactical strobe, and off. And so, all right, guys, there you have it. A look at the Thrunite TC20 Pro. All in, a fantastic flashlight. awesome out here. Just a great, solid performer. Very nice quality beam, high punch, good distance, a nice form factor. Now again, this might not be your pocketable flashlight for your EDC tasks, but for me, I much prefer having the performance, and especially in a place like this. Outdoors, vast, maybe a search and rescue light for inspections, different types of things where you really need that punch. So in my opinion, the TC20 Pro, absolutely awesome. So again, to the people at Thrunite, thank you very much for providing this for review. And for the rest of you, if you like this content, do me a favor, take a look at my Outer Limitless 2 channel, which is more on the tactical and firearm side of things. At this point, that channel is growing quickly. I have a ton of videos up there. So if you like what you see here on Outer Limitless, do me a favor and check me out on Outer Limitless 2. So all right, guys, thanks for stopping by. I hope you like what you saw. I hope you found it a little bit informative. If you like what you saw, please like, share, and subscribe. And as always, thanks for stopping by. Take care now. I'll see you soon.